every member of the Krishna conscious movement is interested in going door to door to try to convince people about the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So that's the problem. You are all interested in going from door to door and preach Krishna consciousness. It's quite interesting. It gets a little bit. I'm afraid of one thing, okay? Because also Prabhupada says that the devotee is happy. Okay, if you're a devotee, you're happy. So what you're going to do if you're not happy? You're going to fake it? Okay. Now it was like this, that I had a mother. I did have a mother, still have her in a way. And in her family, they were all members of the Salvation Army. You know about the Salvation Army. They have it in Denmark. How do you say in Danish? Frälsningshär. Frälsningshär. Frälsningsarmén. Yes, exactly. That's it. Frälsningsarmén. Frälsningshär. So there was a problem with this. Because if you're saved by Christ, then you're supposed to be happy. And now she lived in her family. And then there was 11 kids in this family, and the father was a member of the Frälsningshär, the Salvation Army, and the mother, and all the kids had to be part of the Salvation Army. And if you're part of the Salvation Army, then you're saved. And if you're saved, then you're happy. Now, Krishna, what do you now do if you're not happy? Having a family with 11 kids. Oh yes, the point was also that my good grandfather managed to lose both arms working at the slaughterhouse under a train, in any case. And most probably actually was drunk. Maybe that was before the Salvation Army. But the point was that they created a family that was Krishna, that was not Krishna conscious, Christ conscious. And they was all supposed to be happy, but you know, the situation was actually not always so happy, because actually at the end, the mother had to take care of the father who had no arms. He had a job also, by the way. Continued to work by the slaughterhouse. Yes, not he couldn't do anything, was by the guard, by the entrance, something. He could do things with the mouth. It was quite interesting. Okay, the point was that the mother has to take care of him in the morning first, take care of him so he could go to the job, and then take care of the 11 kids. And that, you know, at the end, you know, she couldn't really take care of them all so nicely. So then what ends up is that they turn out like drunkards. So, you know, it was not such a happy, in one sense, it was not so happy ending to the happy beginning. So therefore, I'm like concerned, well, I have to be happy, you know. What's wrong with you, Maharaj? You're not happy. You are in Maya. Yeah, maybe it's correct, I'm in Maya. But still, it's in a kind of artificial way, you have to put me in a position that I'm not in at the moment. You know, well, I may look for less than that. I'm sorry. Some of the Swamis, when they leave, I'm sorry, that's a reality of our history, or give up, or and then when there's emotional, they say they're emotionally, there's lack of emotion, something. On an emotional level, it just simply doesn't work anymore. And then it just simply says, okay, goodbye, or they change their position or leave completely or do something. So that is a challenge here, is to have your emotion. I mean, there will be emotion. Sometimes you're happy, you may hurt, you may get hurt also in various ways by devotees and others, because we are like, how should we say that? We are they will back us. We are neophytes. And like, I got hurt. It was interesting. I got, when I was just one month into the movement, or 2 months, there was this one he was a Mormon. He was a devotee, he tried to be a devotee, he was a Mormon. And then, as a good Mormon, he told me something. As a devotee, okay, whatever. And because I was interested in the Tibetan Buddhists before I became a devotee, and the lamas and things like that. And then this devotee, they said, these lamas, they are just witch doctors. I got completely upset. My heart, that was too much for me to hear. I guess I started to cry. But then of course the temple commander came and asked, what's wrong back there? Something. Then he asked, and I don't understand, then just how many rounds have you done? Of course, that's a good question. So I think that proves the point. How many rounds have you done? 4. Or just go into the temple room and charge your rounds. I went into the temple room and the problem went over. Okay, so in one way, that proves the point that I should be Krishna. If you're truly Krishna conscious, true Krishna conscious, truly, you would be happy. So then if you're not happy, then you have to ask, where am I missing? If you say it like that, then what is the missing link? What is the missing part? Of course, then the good temple commander may tell you, well, how many rounds, how's your sadhana? How's his association? So that way, we could say what Prabhupada says is true. If you're truly Krishna conscious, we will be happy. But no, sometimes you may not be happy. And then sometimes devotees try to pretend or keep up. And of course, we have the hypocrite meditators. So then I could say, well, hypocrite devotees. I'm supposed to be like that, but actually I'm not as advanced as I'm supposed to be. And then if we then make a show, at one point it may crash. So that's a challenge. Because then all of a sudden you become, it becomes too contradictory to say what you're pretending to be, or trying to be, and what you actually are. Then it may not work out so well. You may, hopefully you don't. Okay. But if you're truly Krishna conscious, I say truly Krishna conscious, because that's a challenge, is to be Krishna conscious. We will be happy, or we will be satisfied. Of course, I'm happy. What does it mean to be happy, and how happy do you have to be, or how blissful do you have to be? Because then you're blissful brahmacharya, just chanting and dancing and say, maybe it's time for you to take responsibility. Well, then you become the temple president or something like that, or temple commander, or maybe you're getting responsibilities, and then when you get these responsibilities to carry on for Krishna consciousness, it can be quite tough. So it can be hard to be happy in carrying all these responsibilities sometimes. Because that is also, if you just, when once in satsang, just let's go to Mayapur and sit down by the Ganges of the temple and chant my japa, do a nice japa. So then, that's okay. But then Prabhupada wants us to preach here in the West. And then there's, with ideas that we're going to bring others to Krishna consciousness. But when you have all these people coming to want to be Krishna conscious, then you have to make arrangements. And you have to have organization. And you have to have organization, otherwise it doesn't, it kind of implodes, or nothing much happens. So in that way, so then it becomes, so when you become successful, it becomes a problem, because you get a following, and then you have to take care of the following. You may have to take care of the following in order to move on properly, but for the whole as a movement. And then you can't really sit there and peacefully chant your japa always, at least. Then you're challenged to interact with others, and that is a trip, or not trip, it's not a trip, it's a challenge. So Prabhupada, he of course he had experience, in one sense he had experience with, he had a business, he had a family, he had a business, he know how to organize things. If he wouldn't have known how to organize things, not much would have happened. He would have gone to New York and preached a little bit, but in absence of organization, it would not have moved so as it has done. And that's maybe the difference. God brothers who he may have had criticized or been envious or this or that, but the point is, they didn't have the capacity to do what he did. So we may not be able, so maybe, okay, the point then might be that we cannot imitate, okay? Or we can imitate, but imitation is still an imitation, and it should go from imitation to real. Because then it will be solid. Then it will go on, because it's something like what is this story? They have this fables, Ashok's fables, no, what is it? They have the corresponding in India, and it gets this story, so this...
Pancharatra.
Yeah, Pancharatra, something like about the jackal, I think it's a jackal, I think that's called jackal, that's making this funny sound. They kind of looks like dogs, quite look like dogs, but they're not exactly dogs. And he gets a story, something, I don't know what, he gets some paint on it, and they think it's something special, and then in any case, but still, you may paint him, or you may put up, and then people think it's something else or something more, but then in the bottom is just a jackal. Or something like a dog. You can put a dog on the throne. From a bone, you can put a dog on the king's throne, like that. But then when you put a bone in front of the dog, his doggish nature will manifest again. Okay, that's a little bit radical example. So we may have then in one sense we can say progression means humility, and humility is a part of it, is to understand our position. And that's be humbly progressing from where we are, and then we can progress. Then the progress will be more solid. Humility is the beginning of knowledge. And one sense humility means to understand who you are, where you are, and not make we can say false show, because that is what Prabhupada and the purport is speaking about. The meditators in the Himalayas and like that. But this movement is very wonderful, because it's kind of difficult to make a false show. You maybe can make a show, because we are surrounded by loving devotees who will point out the shortcomings, and loving, but in case just by the very association we are challenged, we are tested. Okay. Of course, it's sometimes, the new devotees, maybe sometimes they're living in the flat and having everything very nice, and everything chanted around very nicely and like that, and then they come and join the temple, and they're what they experience they make then in their flat, sitting, doing the sadhana, or they know where everything is, and everything is nice and clean. Then you may feel, I'm really advanced. Then you come and live with the devotees. Then your advancement is tested. How do you handle to be with others, practicing Krishna consciousness? So we can say that's this Krishna consciousness movement. The movement, and to be in that part of the movement is purifying, is rectifying every progress. Where the point is, we should not make a show of Krishna consciousness. We should actually be Krishna conscious. Then we will actually be happy. Of course, then we say, well, I'm not happy. So sometimes it's tough. This Krishna consciousness movement to deal with so many. Well, we only want nice people to come here. People come and they're kind of nice, but then they're also problematic. So that's a challenge to deal with all these things. Okay, Hare Krishna. So it's not a matter. It's not. We may make a show in some way. But it's on a deeper level, it's not a making of show, but it's actually a matter of being Krishna conscious, and thus finding that place outside and inside where we are in contact with Krishna, and thus can be satisfied or happy or peaceful, even though things are not always so easy around. Just like here it said, the devotee can go to heaven or hell, doesn't matter. The real devotee, heaven or hell is the same. As long as there's service to Krishna. If there's service to Krishna in hell, that's heaven. Bliss is where there's service of true service of Krishna. It's the service of Krishna. But if you go to heaven and there's no service of Krishna, then it's hell. Once I ended up at Mumbai, at Juhu Beach in the town. There was Rath Yatra, so they said everyone is welcome to come from the Mayapur festival, whatever it was, and then we had free food and lodging. So we were put into this nice marble rooms. I was me and two other brahmacharis, and we actually there was a Rath Yatra, and then after that we stayed some more days there. And we thought, wow, wonderful, in this nice, beautiful room, marble and attached shower and toilet, and it was so nice the first day. And then on the third day, it just the whole thing just turned into something else. Well, we didn't kill each other or anything, we didn't quarrel or something, but it was just that things went strange. Because you think, we were there, but the point was we didn't really have any service. We didn't really have any purpose being there. And as it felt strange, and actually was not such a happy ending to it. We couldn't happily stay there for full 3 days, okay? First day was happy, and then you go, as a brahmachari, you need something to do. Okay, so that was really not really provided then and there, or we wasn't maybe asking for it. So in that way I say, so things may be nice from an external point of view, but unless there's service to Krishna, we will not be happy. But if there's service to Krishna, even though things are difficult, and well, specifically if we service to Krishna and we serve nicely together with other devotees, or we work together, then that is a blissful experience. That is also like our traveling Sankirtan parties and like that. They were. Okay. Well, at least we were there, and we went on because it was for Krishna, it was for Prabhupada. And in one sense we were feeling satisfied that we could do something meaningful. That was this Viktor Frankl, you have heard about him, he's an existential psychologist. I call him existential psychologist. He wrote one book, at least I read one book before I became a devotee. And his point was just going to, if you have a meaning to your life, then you can go through all kinds of things. If you take away the meaning, then you can't exist. So that he had experience with the concentration camps during the Nazi time, and observed what happened there with people. As long as that idea that their wife and kids were at home, and they were going to meet again sometime or something like that, then they could live. But if they got news that they were dead, then they also quickly died, because they couldn't live without the meaning. Well, in that difficult time. Then others were like turning this difficult situation that became a springboard to go deeper, so to say, into their spiritual life or meaningful contemplations of matters. So that way, when there's a meaning, then it's nice. And then it doesn't really matter whether things are externally so as we think it should be, or we hoped it should be, or something. But then we happily, so to say, struggle together for a meaningful purpose, for spreading Krishna consciousness, and then we're happy. But if there's no meaning, well, it's empty, an empty bottle, so to say. Show bottle. Then we can say show bottle. An empty bottle, a show bottle. May look nice, but what's the use with an empty bottle? There's nothing in it. So the challenge is what's in us. Are we empty bottles, or are we full bottles full of Krishna consciousness? And then maybe it doesn't matter if the bottle is beautiful or not. The question is what's in it. Let's get the nectar. Give me some water. Well, it has. And then we feel thirsty in the desert. You don't really care in what container the water is, as long as you get water. So we can say, because we should have these containers also. So we have the water of life, the water of Krishna consciousness. We should try to relish it and distribute it. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this allegory of the garden. He was a garden, he has the trees, and there was the fruits, and all these fruits, and I can take it and all myself. Please help me to distribute these fruits so everyone can be satisfied by taking this wonderful fruit. So that way we say, it doesn't mean that we don't eat of the fruit ourselves. We don't want to help to spread it, so to say. And also this example given with the Sunday feast. Okay, there's another way of seeing it. Sunday feast. So you make a feast and you invite everyone to come, and no one comes. Well, that's sad. But that maybe doesn't mean that you don't take a feast yourself. Okay, they didn't come, but there's a feast group, of course. And on the other hand, if there is a feast, the fun is if it comes others also. It becomes more meaningful when you share the feast with others. Okay, so let's share the feast of Krishna consciousness with all the conditioned souls, and let's be happy. Maybe have some question or comment.
Thank you for a very nice lecture. I like this verse very much, and I found one point in the word-for-word translation. It's this word para arthanishta, and Prabhupada, he makes the longest translation I have seen of that word. Like it takes several lines. So I was just thinking, like this para arthanishta as a concept. Maybe you could talk a little about that.
Interested in working for others, giving the benefit of Krishna consciousness, by enlightening them with Krishna consciousness. Yes. Well, that's Prabhupada, or that's what para artha nishta. I don't know. Artha, benefit, para, highest, nishta. How do you translate nishta?
Conviction?
Foundation.
Conviction.
Conviction, okay. Okay, nishta, or faith, okay, nishta. Giving them interested in working for others. Okay, one thing, being unselfish. Willing to sacrifice for others. Not as concerned with your own liberation. By giving the benefit of the Krishna consciousness movement. Okay, so one says we give them the Krishna consciousness movement and the benefit of the movement. So that, again, the externalities and the essence. So there's a movement that carries it, but the benefit, so we carry giving the benefit of Krishna consciousness by enlightening them with Krishna consciousness. So the benefit of the Krishna consciousness is by being enlightened about Krishna consciousness, knowing about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, and then also practice that. So you're how's it said? Visayavini Vartante Nidaharasadina Rasavavini Visokasya Paramristoni Vartate Paramristoni Vartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, but ceasing such engagement, though the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. I just think actually experiencing a higher taste. Okay. So in one way or another we experience a higher taste. And we may experience the higher taste in our own way, in a way. So some may be more contemplative, meditative, some may be worshipping the Lord, managing or preaching, acting, doing, but they experience in that service and seva, they experience a higher taste because it's connected with Krishna. But it may be maybe looks a little bit different exactly how we engage in the service, how we're engaging, there's certain basic things, but then they're different. When we speak in terms of Varnashram Dharma, that a little bit. Enlightening them with Krishna consciousness. So in that way, we can say we give them Krishna consciousness, but also in order to give you have to have something yourself. Sometimes we also take what we need, and that's what Prabhupada has. So we have the morning program, there's something evening, and there's activities, so that we have something ourselves to give. And then we give. And then of course we understand by giving we also get. So in that way we give, we take, and with an open hand we can give, and we can take. So Krishna gives us and we can give others. But then we can also take. We should also take. Because not whole, feed ourselves and feed others. Also, Krishna says, well, you get the prasadam in the hand, okay, and that's satisfying. So the completion of it when it's actually moved to the mouth, and then put into the stomach and nicely chewed and digested. So in some way like that, taking and digesting and nourishing ourselves. And then, being strong, we can go out and, so to say, give others the benefit of the Krishna consciousness movement. So lucky you have a temple here, you have an ashram, and you have spiritual activities and preaching is going on. So it's a very nice place, nice setup. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes.
I was just wondering if you could share with us, like I heard in Alatra, they have like this, they invite Prabhupada's disciples, senior disciples, on Sunday for the youth, and then they ask them to please tell what was the reason why they joined and what made them stay in all these 40 plus years, and then some advice